to our Focus on Shelton, brought to you by the great folks at our community credit union. Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody is in studio. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
It's a good day.
Good day indeed. We have some great news to share along about some new officers, or a new officer coming into the force.
A new officer, a furry new officer.
Tell us
A
about
furry new
this.
officer. Yeah, I just can't get over the community here, how when they're asked to do something, they step up like they did. In a very short time. We did some fundraising, thanks to some folks around the community, and raised over $10,000 in that period of time.
That's great.
And we thought, okay, we've got to get to 20 because we've got to outfit a car,
Yep.
we've got to get equipment, the dog, the training. And then I got a call from a community member in a business in town that says, we'll match it. So Monday morning, Hector Diaz goes to school for the next 8 to 10 weeks and will be our first patrol canine officer.
So let's break all this stuff down here. First, you mentioned the kind of retrofitting of the cars, and we've already seen some of the stickers on one of the vehicles. But what needs to happen inside the car to have it ready for the canine?
So we took one of our existing cars, and the company is called Satina, which is a local company in Thurston County.
Okay.
And Satina builds cages for the cars. They build the cages as they are now for the prisoners, to separate the prisoners. These cages are unique in that they will house a dog and still have room to transport a prisoner in that car. So it's kind of a split cage.
Okay.
Where the dog will come in the driver's side rear door, and he has his little run on the side of the car there. And then on the other side where the passenger seat is, will be where he can transport anybody he needs to transport.
Wow.
Yeah, and the cages have come such a long way. I did this 20 years ago, and we put a plywood platform in the back of a patrol car and took out the seat.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how far it's come now. And now we had to get a few things. Those dogs are a big investment. They're an important member of our department. So in that, we get what's called a chili dog system, and that is, if the car heats up to a certain temperature, an alarm will go off the sound for the officer, and it'll kick in an air conditioning and fan unit in there.
Wow.
These are all things that technology's brought to us, but that are just invaluable.
Sure.
A door popper. There's a remote door popper. Say the officer's at a distance and something goes wrong and he needs a dog, he can remotely pop the door.
That's
Wow.
The dog can exit.
Never thought about that.
No,
That's
yeah.
really neat.
And these are all things, like I said, 20 years ago we rolled down the windows and they jumped out the window.
Yeah.
And you found out that A, dogs were hurting themselves jumping out windows too much, and B, you have the potential that the dog's going to react when it shouldn't react. So now all of those things had to be put into place. And once again, I got to thank all the folks. Leanne over at Cantina.
Sure.
She did a lot of fundraising. My Painted Heart with Nicole Frazier with the flags. George over at Nita's Cafe. He called, said, what do you guys need? I said, well, I'm not sure what we need yet, George. And next thing you know, he says, I got your dog food for you. I got a kennel for you. Marty Tennant with All Dogs Go to Heaven. Marty called and said, I'll get you a vest for the dog. And vests alone are $1,000. Says, I'll get you a vest, leashes, equipment, what you need there. MaceCom staff, dispatch, helped put a Facebook page together that started bringing stuff in. And, our video with Dakota Poorman. Dakota did a fundraiser down at the Cantina and donated to it. Peninsula Credit Union opened an account for us, and so the account's with Peninsula. And then, like I said, to my surprise, I got a call from Bert Fisher at Community Credit Union that says, we want to buy the dog. And I said, well, they're fundraising right now. He said, we'll buy the dog, use that for all the equipment you need.
Man.
That's
so great.
We were
about the
anticipating
community.
months down the
Yeah,
road, and he's going. So
you mentioned the vest. We had the big Great Dane Jack in from the sheriff's office, and it's got a vest. And so where are we in what this will look like? Is it kind of a sleeker vest like Jack wears, or is it one of these type of vests that you see on the TV shows when it comes to, like the SEAL team dog, where it's got all sorts of
it's
stuff?
more along the lines of that. It's a ballistic vest. Jack's not a patrol dog.
Right.
These are dogs that are going to be out on patrol. So if we know we're going into a high-risk situation, a building search, something like that, the handler can put the vest on the dog, and it's a ballistic vest that protects the vital organs, just like it would on a police officer.
Sure. Wow.
So
That's amazing.
we put as much into this as we would a police officer. This is going to be a member of our team. It's an investment, and it's a valuable asset to the community.
8 to 10 weeks of training, and then on the streets. And what are some of the kind of first things that Officer Diaz and the dog will do? What is kind of normal patrols, or is it an outreach to introduce everybody?
I think it'll be a little bit of everything, Jeff. You know, he'll be done with patrol school when he comes back. The dog will eventually become a dual-purpose dog, which is a narcotics dog as well as a patrol dog. But it'll become Diaz's partner. That'll be his partner on the beat, working with him every night that he works. Just like him after graveyard, he's going to go home, get some sleep, and come back and do it the next day. But, you know, the dog is also going to be a tracking dog. You know, lost kids. It's not unusual for us with some of our senior citizen homes to get folks that walk away from those and end up lost in the woods. And you can get lost in these woods pretty quick.
Yeah.
This dog can cover ground 10 times faster than we can. Can smell, 100 times, 1,000 times better than we can. And so it's going to be used for tracking, narcotics, patrol work. And it's going to be a community outreach tool. Who doesn't love dogs?
Sure.
Yeah.
And, it's shown by the donations we've had and the love from the community. That dog will be at every event we can get it to.
I bet.
And following that dog, Trent Porter, the other officer, we're continuing the fundraising. So I don't want to stop now and tell people we're done. We wanted 2 dogs. And so Trent Porter is our next officer in line. And as soon as we get the money raised, he'll be the next going.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is great. Is it unusual for a police force for a city the size of 10,000 to have 1 or 2 canine dogs?
I don't know that it's unusual. I will say I haven't seen one that can raise that money that fast.
Sure.
And have people supporting this like they are. And it's people from all over the place. We're still selling T-shirts and sweatshirts down at the police department. You can come down and pick up a T-shirt or sweatshirt, or go to Peninsula Credit Union and make a donation to the Canine Foundation. It's an independent of the police department. In other words, those donations are going to a 501c3 nonprofit as the Shelton Police Canine Foundation, organized by those guys. And so you're not donating necessarily to the city. You're donating to a 501c3 foundation that is exclusively used for the canine program.
Wow, that's great. That is great. So we'll see, 8 to 10 weeks from now?
Oh, I'm sure we'll get it on here.
That'll be great.
The dog will come down here.
Yeah. Oh, we'll do a green room interview, so it's
Perfect.
You can
Look
see
forward to that.
everybody.
Perfect.
While you're here, let's talk a little bit about this most recent arrest, a gentleman going into the Mountain View Elementary School area. The pictures all across social media, and within moments, it seemed like people were tagging that alleged person. Is that helpful to you?
It's extremely helpful. And I get it. People say, oh my gosh, there was even people on there, like, how can you snitch this guy off?
Yeah.
Really? Do you want him stealing your stuff?
That's a good point.
And, maybe it's somebody who needs some help too. Quite often folks like that are somebody that we end up arresting that, they've got some kind of addiction or mental health issue or something, and that may be the way that they get their help. But yeah, it was interesting because as soon as we got the video back on that, I actually went into the patrol room and I said, hey, I'm going to buy dinner for who can ID this guy. And within 5 minutes, they came into my office and said, we've ID'd him. I said, how'd you do that? Did you know him? And they said, no. We've got Facebook hits all over the place in the community saying, this is the guy.
Yeah.
So, a small town. But, I thank the community again for reaching out to us for that one.
Good.
Social media really helps in that regard. Huh? It's hard to
It
be
does.
anonymous anymore.
It does, and there's a train of thought that used to be in the police departments of we keep it a secret here. We're going to do this investigation. Nobody's going to know what's going on. It's secret squirrel. That's ridiculous. We're transparent, and we need the community's help. And the best way to do that is that type of deal.
Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody here this morning, and some exciting news. And we'll get more information on the canine coming up. And always good to see you.
Good to see you.
That's
Thanks
great.
for finding
us.
That's awesome.